Hey everybody, Y-Duck here again. This time I've got a set of replays from the Go4SC2 July 2013 edition. And this time on Newkirk Precinct, our two players will be... well, let's find out. In the bottom left, we've got, representing Mouse Sports, spawning as the Red Terran in the bottom left, we've got Heromarine. And his opponent... coming from Ukraine, spawning in the bottom right as the blue Terran, we've got Strelok. And so this very, very interesting TVT mirror matchup, as both players are going to be identical for a while. They're both getting supply depots at the ramp. It'll be interesting to see what kind of tactics are going to diverge from both players. Looks like Heromarine is going to be going for Refinery first. So maybe he wants to go for Reapers. Strelok looks like he's going to be putting down the barracks first. Going to be going for more a defensive posture. And you do have to remember here on Newkirk Precinct that to get to your opponent's base is kind of like a long kind of C. And so if you do get medevacs, it's much easier to drop straight across. The distance is cut by quite a bit. So drops are very popular in this map. Strelok is sending out an SCV to scout. Maybe spot some proxies along the way, but Heromarine isn't doing anything strange. And here's something peculiar. Heromarine is opting to put the barracks very close to his command center instead of blocking the ramp. And this is going to allow Strelok to come and scout in here. And newer players might say, oh, it doesn't matter, what is he going to see? Well, he's going to see the timing of the barracks as it's just completing. And he's also going to see, well, the SCV. Well, I'm not sure if the SCV went in there. I don't think the SCV did go in there. The SCV is going to come back in, able to spot the factory. But if Strelok comes in a little bit more, he'll be able to see how much gas has been mined out of that refinery. It's actually about 70 more gas. And that's very interesting. Because of their initial postures, I thought Heromarine might be a little bit more aggressive going for Reapers, and Strelok was going to go for Marines, but in fact, it's the other way around. Strelok's going to be going for Reapers, and Heromarine is going for a more defensive posture, trying to get that factory up. And there's so many places to jump up in here. And in fact, Strelok is pulling Marines as well. And he has an SCV. And they're both camping at the ramp to the natural of Heromarine's base. So Strelok is behind tech-wise. But he is being more aggressive here. The SCV is going to fall immediately. The Marine is going to give high ground vision to that Reaper. But now the Reaper has to withdraw. So losing an SCV and a Marine for one Marine is a very bad trade. That's basically a 2-for-1. And Heromarine almost has a starport ready, and that tech lab is just waiting. Banshees are calling. Strelok is opting to get a command center behind this, and he's getting his factory. He's a little bit behind compared to his opponent. And also an engineering bay will be coming into play soon as he's starting to build it. But now with both Reapers up, the Reapers can kill the Marines and then fall back to regenerate. Heromarine is going to have to continuously produce Marines until these Reapers are dealt with. And this kind of caps Heromarine. Now he's building a reactor. If Strelok is able to see this, he might be able to push his advantage, because this barracks won't be producing Marines for quite a while. Able to pick off another Marine. Now this Hellion is here, and remember, Hellions are faster than Reapers, and so these Reapers are going to have a difficult time escaping. They'll have to use their high and low ground jumping ability to avoid the Hellion, and they're able to hide away from that Hellion. But now that single Banshee is going to move across the map. Cloak is almost done. And there is no... oh, there is. There is one missile turret here from Strelok. And so the main mineral line won't be harassed as much. But still, remember, the range of the Banshee, because of the positioning of this missile turret, can still hit the SCVs on the peripherals. And now 2 Marines are going to get eaten up by this Banshee, but the Viking is out. And without Cloak, finally Cloak does come into effect. Now this reactor is going to go down unless SCVs are pulled off the line. 4 Marines are coming off. The scan's going to come down, but unfortunately that's not going to do enough. And now that's going to be another loss for Strelok. The mine is there as well, but going to wait for the scan to go away. The scan is gone now. The reactor does not go down, so Strelok was able to save that, but he did burn down a scan. And now, will he be able to destroy this Banshee? No! Able to escape again, 10 lives, so this is a significant loss for Strelok. And, oh, finally able to pick off that Banshee. And the reason is even though under resources lost, it says that Heromarine has lost 400 resources, and Strelok only lost 200, so you might think, oh, Strelok's ahead. But he lost 2 scans to kill that Banshee. And each scan is about 250 minerals if you convert them to mules. So that's actually about 700 minerals. So that's a big loss. So even though the Banshee didn't kill a lot of units, it still cost Strelok quite a few resources. So that is something to take a note of. And this second Banshee is now harassing again. The scan's going to go down, but the Banshee is going to escape again, and once again, that's another 250 or so resources that Strelok cannot use for mules. So even though this Banshee has only 3 kills, it's actually significantly more. And it looks like this Banshee is going to come back again. Only has 15 cloak. If Strelok knows this... No, he's going to put down the scan. This Banshee's going to blow up. There we go. Only a few pieces left, just smoldering on the ground, so Strelok able to deal with the harass, losing 3 scans for 2 Banshees. Overall, I don't think either player is really ahead by that much. Strelok is behind by about 10 supply, but remember, his orbital was set up at his natural much earlier than Heromarines, and so some of that economic advantage is going to go back to Strelok, but he might lose it here. A third Banshee in here, able to destroy 3 SCVs, now 4, and this Banshee has done a great job, forcing a scan as well. So killing 4 SCVs and forcing a scan. That Banshee basically paid for itself, but destroying SCVs is a huge, huge economic loss. Heromarine is setting up, getting more mules, and he also has his own Raven. Kind of afraid if Strelok was going to go for the Banshee retaliation, but not so much. Strelok just has air control. He has 3 Vikings. And a third orbital, but it hasn't moved out yet. So does Heromarine, and both players are just stabilizing, feeling each other out. They're not pushing out. They're not scouting each other. And something interesting is coming into play. Strelok is getting the Infernal Pre-Igniter, so I don't know if that means he's going to be going for Hellbat drops. Then this mine is going to get a free kill. There we go. Great Widow Mine placement, able to pick off that Hellion. Excuse me. And Strelok is going to be patrolling the skies, but both players are not really pushing into each other's territories. They're just macroing up. It looks like Heromarine is going to be going for mech. Strelok is also going for mech, so this is going to be a classic mech versus mech TVT mirror match. I haven't seen one of these in a while. Usually players go for Marines and tanks, or one goes for bio and the other goes for mech. I feel that mech is generally not as strong against Zerg and Protoss players. I feel like Terran players have to go for bio because they simply need the mobility. I feel that Zerg is so fast that you need the stim of the bio death ball to really counteract those fast mutalisks and Zerglings. Protoss as well, because they can warp in anywhere that you have to go back to defend your expansions. But in TVT, mech is still very viable. It still works. This little Marine is going to sacrifice himself. Well, that's a pretty big, like, piece of... I don't know what organ that is. That's a huge organ, though. Going to have a drop here by Hellions, not Hellbats by Strelok. Just 3 Blue Flame Hellions. Those SCVs are all lined up. Significant SCV losses. Able to destroy 2 more, so 9 SCVs destroyed in total, and those 2 Hellions are finally going to be destroyed. But those 3 Hellions did do significant damage and also lost mining time. And remember here, if Strelok wants to go for another drop, there are some damaged SCVs here. And I've seen it before where there's lots of damaged SCVs and they're not repaired or healed, and then another drop comes in and then they all go down in one shot. So that might be something to take note of. It doesn't look like Strelok's going to be going for any more drops with Blue Flame Hellions, but we'll have to see in the future. Another advantage is going to Heromarine. He's actually getting +1 weapons before Strelok, so the upgrade advantage will be slightly in Heromarines' favor, as both players are solidifying their third bases. And it looks like this Lone Reaper and this Lone Marine are going to be sent out to do some scouting. This Lone Reaper just hanging out in the middle of the map. The tank says hi. Reaper says, hey, dude. This Marine is going to get blown up, and it looks like here the battle lines are going to be drawn. But Heromarine is going to withdraw temporarily. And this is one of the great things about being Terran is you can just pop down scans instead of mules if you really need to know where your opponent is. And that's one of the great things, because Protoss and Zerg players don't have that option. Protoss players rely heavily on observers, but scans destroy observers if you have anti-air in the area. And as Zerg, you need overlords, overseers, maybe burrowed units, and once again, scans will reveal those burrowed units. So that's one of the great advantages of playing Terran. And it looks like here are the lines. The siege tanks are sieging up. Heromarine is going to be able to destroy some units, but because he's got air vision, he's going to be able to fire down on these tanks a little bit earlier. A few Seeker missiles are going to go down, able to destroy one tank and damage a lot more. And one of the things that a lot of players forget, as the 4th expansion of Strelok is attacked by that Lone Marine, is that siege tanks actually have a larger range than their vision. So if you can scan or get Vikings or Medivacs to provide longer vision, you can actually fire on opposing siege tanks before they can fire on you. So that is an interesting note, just like in Starcraft 1. So veterans do know about that. And it looks like the Hellbat from Strelok was able to deal with that Marine. The Marine did significant damage, doing 20% of the damage of the orbital commands. That's nothing to scoff at. SCVs are pulled off the line to repair for Strelok. And before I said Heromarine had the upgrade advantage, but now Strelok does. He's already started +2 weapons, and for some reason, Heromarine did not. For over a minute, it seemed like. So Strelok's going to have a small timing window when his +2 weapons is finished. I find it very strange that neither player went for double armory, as armor upgrades would significantly help. 4 Medivacs are going to drop all these Hellbats on all these tanks. And now Strelok's forces are under extreme stress. We've got so many tanks left for Heromarine. He's just going to be able to barge in here. There's no more tanks for Strelok. Only 1 left. And look at this army. After that confrontation, we have 15 tanks to 5. And Heromarine is just going to move across the map. Strelok is going to have to retreat. But unfortunately, Hellbats are not very good against tanks, especially against so many tanks. And it doesn't matter if they get blue or orange or green or rainbow flames, they don't do extra damage to tanks. And it looks like these tanks from Strelok are going to bite the dust. And the SCVs are going to try and come in here as well, but they're all blown to smithereens. So Strelok is going to have to lift his 3rd and retreat. Remember, he does have his 4th as well, but so does Heromarine. So Strelok is behind economically. He's behind 35 supply as well, and he's hurting 4 resources. Heromarine has many more resources. So great engagement by Heromarine. Strelok, unfortunately, now is reeling. And on the 4th base, he's also got 4 siege tanks to deal with. He's going to have to retreat. His tank is blown up easily from the tanks on the low ground. And now Heromarine is just creeping forward inch by inch with the siege tanks. These Hellbats are just holding position, and now they're going to have to retreat. But the orbital command is under attack. The Medivac is going to drop off 1 Thor and a couple Hellbats to clean up this group of siege tanks. And so Strelok is going to be able to stabilize his 3rd, at least for now. But Heromarine is moving across the map. He's got a huge contingent. He's got about 14 tanks and 17 Hellbats. A couple of them are hidden in that medevac. And the siege tanks are going to siege up. And the lines are drawn here. And it looks like the Hellbats are getting blown up for free. Strelok with a little bit indecision, moving back and forth and just getting blown up for the cost of nothing. Heromarine will take that trade any time of the day. Scans going down relentlessly for both players. Strelok looking for an opening, trying to drop that Thor. And it looks like Strelok's going to move in here, but once again, indecision. He's moving back and forth, and he's going to lose a whole bunch of Hellbats for nothing. And now he's got no units left. He's only got a couple Thors and a couple tanks, and they're going to get chewed up easily. And with 4 tanks sieged up on the line here by Heromarine, these siege tanks are going to take a lot of damage. But they're going to be able to finally clean up the siege tank line, but at what loss? You take a look at resources lost, and Strelok has lost significantly more resources, about 4,000 more than his Terran opponent. Now he's going to drop in here, try to deal with these 4 siege tanks on the high ground, but it's not going to do that well, as Heromarine is just streaming across the map with more Hellbats and more siege tanks. And the orbital at the third is going to have to live once again, but this time there are 2 Vikings, so this orbital is not going to be able to escape if Heromarine wants to focus down on it. But he's going to focus down on those medevacs first. 2-to-1 Vikings, not a great deal for Strelok. The orbital is going to be able to escape, but Strelok is going to tap out, because at the same time his 4th is under heavy harassment from 2 Hellbats, Blue Flame Hellbats. And so unfortunately for Strelok, he wasn't able to do very much. Heromarine got a very good engagement about halfway through the game, and that basically put Strelok behind the 8 ball by about 30-40 supply, and for the entire game he was trying to play catch up, and he just wasn't able to. All the harassment was on Strelok's side of the map after the halfway point, and he just wasn't able to recover. So great game by Heromarine, and we're going to head over to game 2 and see if Strelok can bounce back.